it's just a big commotion. So I was just letting the fans just kind of relax. Like we're not here to hurt anyone. It's a basketball play, and that's what it's going to do. We're going to continue to make basketball plays, and it's going to be physical, is what we're trained to do. But that was my biggest thing, was just kind of be a fan. Yes, cheer for your team. That's okay, but at the same time, this is our job. I'm not going to hurt E-Dub, and she knows that. I'm actually checking to make sure she's okay. So I don't like the instigating. It doesn't help our game. It doesn't grow our game. So that's what I was telling people, just to kind of relax. Like, it's okay.
The Las Vegas Aces, once hailed as the WNBA's next dynasty, are unraveling faster than a dollar store lawn chair in a windstorm. 3 straight losses? Check. A defense leaking buckets like a sieve? Double check. Yet somehow, Aja Wilson keeps getting MVP-level praise like it's handed out with participation ribbons. While the media fawns over her stats in a vacuum, another player is out here putting in real work, breaking records, torching defenses, and dragging her team to an undefeated record with grit and brilliance. Spoiler alert, it's not Aja Wilson. It's the real MVP, and it's time people start paying attention.
And this is a problem is that in general, when it comes to WNBA talk, you cannot say that Aja Wilson's not the best player in the world when she's not. Nafisa Collier is on a 7-0 Minnesota Lynx team and is averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds per game, and she's doing it on 51% from the field and 45%.
The Las Vegas Aces just dropped 3 straight games for the first time since 2019. Yeah, 3 in a row. The last time that happened, Bill Laimbeer was still pacing the sidelines, and we all remember how that chapter ended. But here's the kicker: even with this rocky, borderline disastrous start to the season, and a record that screams mediocrity more than dominance, Aja Wilson is still being hyped like she's single-handedly holding up the entire league. It's as if the losing streak, defensive collapses, and lack of cohesion don't matter. As long as Wilson puts up pretty box score numbers, the narrative stays golden.
Before Clark's injury, she was under 115 to win the award, while Collier sat at over 160. But as of earlier this week, Collier now sits at under 175 to win the award, while Clark's MVP odds lengthened to over 250. Collier's averaging almost 30.7 rebounds and 3 assists, and the Lynx are currently undefeated, sitting first in the
Meanwhile, up in Minnesota, there's a woman named Natha Keir, who's not just playing MVP-level basketball, she's redefining it. The contrast between her and Aja Wilson is so sharp, you'd need sunglasses just to glance at the stat sheets. Let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie, even when the narrative tries to. Aja Wilson is putting up a respectable 22.8 points and 10.5 rebounds per game. Solid stats, the kind that keep your name trending and your highlight reels circulating. But here's what those numbers aren't doing. They're not translating into wins for a team built to dominate. The Aces were supposed to be a championship machine, yet they're sputtering. And Wilson's stats, no matter how shiny, aren't enough to keep that engine running.
Asia shouldn't have won MVP last year. She has all these pieces, all these big names, and they're struggling. They're struggling. Visa Collier has, if we going band for band, Visa Collier has way less help. We're talking about superstardom. And she had a team in the finals, and right now they're 3-0, 4-0. She's average.
Now flip the script to Nafisa Collier, who's out here putting on an absolute clinic, averaging 26.3 points, 8.3 rebounds, and hitting an absurd 51.4% from the field. And she's not just stuffing the stat sheet for fun, she's leading the Minnesota Lynx to a flawless 7-0 start. That's not just good basketball, that's domination. That's leadership, efficiency, and clutch performance rolled into one. It's the kind of run that makes you lean back in your chair, raise an eyebrow, and say, now that's what an MVP looks like. No excuses, no hype without results, just pure impact, night after night.
If a WNBA game was as long as an NBA game, Nafisa Collier would be averaging more points per game than anyone, men or women. She's averaging 30 points per game this season, and her spin move to the left and the pull-up might be the most unguardable shot in all of basketball. If you're on her back and you see her start to turn over that right shoulder, just start running down to set up the offense. And if she gets a head of steam going to the basket, she can put on the brakes or blow by you to scoop to the rim. She can score pretty much any way she wants as long as she's in the paint. She's even got the little Dirk fadeaway. Dog. Oh, and she's shooting 54% from 3. After winning Defensive Player of the Year last season, it looks like she's got her sights set on MVP.
If you're enjoying the ride, don't forget to subscribe. The Las Vegas Aces 2025 campaign has been nothing short of a masterclass in unmet expectations. Once hailed as the WNBA's inevitable dynasty, the back-to-back champs face-planted right, out of the gate. First, with a 92-82 stumble against the New York Liberty, then a brutal 102-82 blowout at the hands of the Seattle Storm. Their vaunted defense, once a calling card, slipped from a stellar 97.7 rating in 2023 to a shaky 99.6. A drop coach, Becky Hammon, candidly blamed on a glaring lack of accountability. And yet, amid all the chaos, A'ja Wilson, still the media's darling and reigning MVP, continues to soak up the spotlight. Meanwhile, Napheesa Collier is putting together a historic campaign in near silence, averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds while leading the Minnesota Lynx to a flawless 7-0 start. The Aces' downfall isn't about bad bounces or a few off nights. It's systemic. Candace Parker's sudden retirement in April 2024 hollowed out the team's depth and leadership, leaving Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young to carry an unsustainable load. The front office's answer? A desperate mid-season shakeup that sent Plum to the Sparks and brought in Jewel Lloyd. But all it did was expose an already depleted bench. Even Wilson's 31-point eruption against New York couldn't distract from the truth. The Aces are no longer built to win, and the cracks are now impossible to ignore.
The Las Vegas Aces are 4-2 on the season. She is averaging 23, 10.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and a lot of steals on 47% from the field and 26% from 3. So Fia is shooting 4% better from the field, 20% better from 3. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, 20% better from 3. And she is also not statistically as good a defender, but she's a better defender. She's still averaging a crazy amount of stocks, but she is the better defender because she's more versatile. She defends better on the perimeter. She's not as good a shot blocker, which A'ja Wilson is, but she actually guards people. A'ja Wilson just chills under the basket. And in terms of getting in passing lanes, they're very similar. So, Fia is the best player in the world.
But here's where it gets really spicy. While Vegas's golden child, A'ja Wilson, continues to bask in media attention, dominate highlight reels, and collect "she's so amazing" commentary like trophies, Napheesa Collier is quietly becoming the actual MVP frontrunner, with 170 odds to prove it. Let that sink in. Wilson's 22.8 points and 10.5 rebounds might shimmer on paper, but they're propping up a broken system. The Aces' once feared defense now bleeds out 10 threes per game, second worst in the league. And this isn't new. Remember that infamous 28-point collapse to Chicago in 2022? Wilson dropped a stat-stuffed 20 and 18, but it meant nothing as the sky torched Vegas in transition and exposed their defensive chaos. Fast forward to 2025, and it's deja vu. Seattle's 75-70 win wasn't just a bad night. It was a blueprint. Wilson scored 19, sure, but the Storm shot 43.1% overall and 36.4% from deep, exposing the Aces' inability to clamp down when it counts. Wilson's stats are starting to feel detached from impact, numbers for numbers' sake. Meanwhile, Collier isn't just posting elite numbers, she's producing wins, leading, and dominating in every metric that matters. Vegas might still be writing love letters to Wilson, but the odds makers have spoken. Collier at plus 170, Wilson at sub 700. That's not a debate, that's a landslide.